Salam sejahtera, Dr. Azifa. So today, me and my group members are going to present about the plant pollination. So the purpose of choosing this topic is because we think that the pollination is very important in the study of symbiotic relationship between the plants and the pollinators. And my group member are actually consists of 8 persons, which are me, Zenkai, Ross, Shafiq, Shah, Sufi, Satyan, Azim, dan Harry Daniel.
Firstly, I will present about self-pollination. Self-pollination occurs in flowers where the stamen and carpel mature at the same time, and they are positioned so that the pollen can land on the flower's stigma. This method of self-pollination not require the plant to provide nectar and pollen because they do not need the pollinator such as insect to pollinate them. The disadvantage of this self-pollination is it will reduce the genetic diversity because the genetic material come from the same plant. And for the example of the self-pollination plant is such as broccoli, corn, carrot, and apple.
My name is Muhammad Shfaiman and I will present about cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is a type of pollination where pollen grains loaded with sperm are transmitted from one plant's cones to another flowers that contain eggs. Angiosperm or blooming plants and gymnosperms or cone-bearing plants both have cross-pollination, which promotes outbreeding and cross-fertilization. Pollen can travel from plant to plant via wind, as in the case of conifers, or it can travel in symbiotic partnerships with a variety of creatures such as bees, sunbirds, and bats who transport pollen from one plant to another plant while feasting on nectar.
As we know, most of the plants they need a pollinator to help them undergo the pollination. So among the pollinators, including the abiotic pollinators or the biotic pollinators, insect is one of the biotic pollinators which is very helpful in the pollination. For example, bees are one of the most important pollinators because they collect the nectar and pollen, transferring the pollen as they move from the flower to flower. Also, we have butterflies and more, but the butterfly and more are especially they're attracted to the brightly colored flower, and also they transfer the pollen while feeding on the nectar, just like the bees just now. And also, the butterfly contribute to the pollination of many garden plants and wildflowers. Well, the moths are important in the pollination of night blooming plants. For example, like the tube rose and the moonflower. Under the category of insect, we have beetle and flies also. They are often attracted to the flowers who with strong odors. Actually, the beetles are among the earliest pollinators and are known as the mast and soil pollinator because they often eat the parts of flower they pollinate and defecate on the flower too. They are important for pollinating ancient plant species such as magnolias and the water lilies. The picture below shows the example of magnolias. Also, the flies such as hoverflies, their job is actually to resemble the bees and wasps and are attracted to the flower with open structures and accessible nectar. They are also important for the pollination of many garden plants of some crops like carrot and onions. Hoverflies also contribute to the controlling aphids population because their larvae or their children are the predators of the aphids.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azrin Shah bin Muhammad Razi. Today, I would like to represent about bird pollinator. Firstly, brush tongue parrot. Brush tongue parrot play a unique role in pollination. Brush tongue parrot are highly active feeder and visit numerous flowers throughout the day. This high frequency of visit increase the chances of successful pollination. Second example of bird pollination is sunbird. Sunbird play a crucial role as pollinator for many plant species. As the bird moves from flower to flower in search of nectar, it inadvertently transfers pollen from one flower to the stigma of another. This process leads to cross-pollination, which is essential for the genetic diversity and reproduction of many plant species. Some flowers have evolved specific traits to attract sunbirds. These traits include bright color, a tubular shape suited to the bird beaks, and high nectar production. Similarly, sunbirds also evolve specialized feeding behavior and physical adaptation such as their long beak and brush-tipped tongues to efficiently extract nectar from this flower. But not least, honeycreepers. Honeycreepers are important pollinators that help maintain the health and biodiversity tropical ecosystem. When they move from flower to flower, honeycreepers transfer the pollen they have picked up to the stigma of new flower. This cross-pollination is crucial for the reproductive success of many flowering plants. Honeycreepers also have specialized beaks that are often curved and slender, perfect for accessing nectar deep within the flower. Their tongues are also adapted to efficiently extract nectar. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, today I'm going to talk about mammals. In mammals, there are different types of species are there in all around the world. In that particularly, we're going to see about bats, which helps for pollinations. There are numerous bat species all around the world, particularly lives in tropical and desert areas. Commonly, bats pollinate flowers at night time. They are vital for pollinations of plants such as agave and some fruit trees, etc. Next, we're going to see about primates. Certain primates like lemurs, which lives in Madagascar, and it assists in pollinations. For instance, the black and white ruffed lemur helps pollinate the traveler's tree. Lastly, we are going to see about rodents. Some rodents, including the sugar glider and honey possums in Australia, which plays a high role in pollinations, especially for flowers that are sturdy enough to support their weight.
Next, wine pollinator. Wine pollinated plants or anemophilous plants possess specific characteristics to maximize the chances of the pollen grains being carried by the vine to receptive stigma for the fertilization. Wine pollinated plants, or we know as anemophilous plants, possess specific characteristics to maximize the chances of the pollen grains being carried by the vine to the receptive stigma for the fertilizations. Firstly, the characteristic of the flowers of the wine-pollinated plants is they often have a small and inconspicuous size of flowers. There are also a lack of flower scents and nectar since they do not have to attract the pollinator. The reproductive parts of the plants are often exposed. This will easily let the vine carry away the pollen from the stamen or receive it to the pistil. Next, the characteristic of the vine pollinated plants is the pollen. The pollen have a small, lightweight and smooth surface. The vine pollinated plants produce large quantities of the lightweight pollen to increase the chances of the successful pollinations. And also, the smooth surface of the pollen will help them to carry easily by the vine. The long and flexible stem will help in swaying with the wind to allowing the pollen to be released more efficiently, and also the positioning of the flowers on the top of the plants, making it easier for the vine to disperse the pollen. Last but not least, the characteristic of the vine pollinated plants is the seeds. The seeds always small and have a range of feathery structures. The small or lightweight of the seeds will make it easier to be carried by the wind, and the range of feathery structure of the some seeds, like of the dandelions, have wings or tufts that allow them to be carried further by the wind. These are examples of the vine pollinated plants, which are dandelions, grasses, and oak tree.
Hello, okay, now we will go to the importance of pollination for plant reproduction. First, reproduction, where the pollination enables flowering plants to reproduce by transferring pollen from male to female parts. Second, genetic diversity, where helps to maintain genetic diversity within plant population. Third, food production, where approximately 80% of food crops depends on pollination. Okay, next is ecosystem health, where pollination supports ecosystem functioning and biodiversity. And lastly, economic value, where the pollination services are valued in the billions, crucial for agriculture and food supply. Thank you.
Next, I will explain about the importance of pollination for biodiversity. First is the habitat formation and maintenance. When plants get pollinated, they produce seeds and grow. This process helps maintain a wide variety of plants in different habitats, like forests, meadows, and gardens. The more diverse the plant, the more diverse the habitat, providing home for many animals, insects, and other living creatures. Next is the resilience to environmental change. A community of many different plants is like a strong team. If one type of plant struggle because of environmental change, like climate change or the introduction of invasive species, other plants can step in to fill the gap. This diversity, supported by the pollination, makes the whole ecosystem stronger and more resilient. The other point is the promotion of symbiotic relationship. Pollination also help build special relationship between plants and pollinators, like bees, butterflies, and birds. These relationships are mutually beneficial. Plants can get help with reproduction, and pollinators get food. This partnership keep ecosystems stable and complex. The last point is the conservation of rare and endemic species. Some plants are rare or found only in specific place. These plants often rely on particular pollinators to survive. By supporting pollination, we help ensure that the unique species don't disappear, preserving the rich variety of life on Earth.
So that's all from us. Thank you.